guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Landon, and we are here again for an update. So as you guys saw in my Oh Are You Late Too album review, I had a really hard time dealing with the Satoori Rap, or as people call it, Paldogangsan. Still nobody's told me if that's right or not, so trying. But I don't like to lose, okay? And I just want to say thank you to everybody for all the kind words after watching me get frustrated with not understanding what the hell they were saying. And for you guys telling me not to be too hard on myself, because you guys have experienced it as well. I'm just so used to like hearing a song and be able to read the lyrics and then just know what it's about. But they threw me on a little bender here. So we're not gonna talk too much. We're just gonna go ahead and watch the BTS Paldogangsan Satoori Rap explained by Korean on the DKDKTV YouTube channel. So thank you so much to everybody for understanding, and thank you to Yaddy for the link in the BTS roadmap. Let's do this.
BTS has been breaking records, appearing at the Grammys and all, but one other thing noticeable is the fact that they are promoting Korea and its language more than ever. Now, people are digging into their older songs and finding it hard to fully understand this one particular song.
Thank you.
Paldogangsan, also known as the Satoori Rap.
I missed him saying it. See, I like it.
So, to begin with, the title Paldogangsan basically means our land or Korea. If you chop the word up, the word Paldo comes from the Joseon dynasty when Korea was divided into 8 provinces, which are 함경도, 평안도, 황해도, 경기도, 강원도, 충청도, 전라도, and 경상도.
Wow.
And Gangsan means the beautiful mountains and rivers you can find in Korea. Basically, all of these regions had and still have their distinct culture and dialects. The fun of this song is that BTS members are representing each region they originally come from by singing in dialects so-called Satoori. Already in the intro hook, Jimin first speaks in the Busan dialect.
Oh, I thought Satoori. I thought Satoori was a specific dialect, but that is just any dialect. That's just what they call the word dialect. Okay, that makes more sense now. It's really cool to see that they all come from different places, but I can see how it can be confusing when they put all their different dialects together, right? And I'm glad I'm not the only one. They had to make a literal 16.5-minute video on this.
It shows one of the typical expressions of Busan by using the famous word ma, which is a way to call a person. Morakano means, what did you just say? So basically, the Busan dialect has some sort of tough feel to it, often associated with manliness.
내가 이거야 완전 내지 이거야.
공안 좀 튕기라 보기 좋지 보기 좋.
가시나야. 네 내랑 사귈래.
Then J-Hope speaks in the Jeolla or Gwangju dialect. We can hear words such as ranke, which is one of the ending words in the Jeolla dialect. Many words in the Jeolla dialect end with either ranke, tanke, 불어, and yoing.
말 시키지 말란게요.
이상하단게.
직접 마지막을 다 나오시고.
몸 사는 일 없고.
One characteristic of the Jeolla dialect is to speak a little fast and drag the last syllable while raising its accent.
참말로 무슨 잘 먹는 건 같다. 서방 알면 돌가상에 복숭아를 훑으리다가 벌집을 쓰셔갖고 대구박이고 나빤데고 참다 쪼사버릴 주둥박이라 하겠네.
Suga speaks in the Taiko dialect, which is similar but slightly different to the Busan dialect, since they're in the same Gyeongsang province. Even Korean people have difficulty distinguishing between the two. But it's known that the location...
If even Korean people have trouble distinguishing them, how do they think that I can do it? Not that they think that I can do it, because I'm so glad that they're giving respect to each of their cultures and where they came from. And I'm not expecting them to change it for us stupid Americans here. But they really should have came out with a whole booklet being like, let me write a book explaining it to you. But I'm here. Y'all, I just want to be real again. I'm still confused. This is all even more confusing because they're giving me like history lessons, but I will get this down. I at least want to know the basis of what this means. I have to. I don't like to lose.
Stress and intonations are slightly different within sentences.
얼마 전에 돈 샀는데 막 갔다.
얼마 전에 돈 샀는데 막 갔다. 내 차에 들려받아.
Some notable points in Suga's verse are vocabulary such as 아재, 머시마, and 가시나, which respectively mean old man, boy, and girl. The original standard would be 아저씨, 남자, and 여자. This vocabulary pretty much applies the same to Busan or any other place in the Gyeongsang province. Now J-Hope raps in the Cholla dialect again, which is known to be very friendly and affectionate. It's quite different to the Gyeongsang dialect, which sometimes can sound even hostile. If you just look at J-Hope's verse, the lyrics itself represent the nature of the dialect. He's basically greeting everyone around and calling everyone to come out and enjoy the party. Also, a very important and essential vocabulary of the Cholla dialect appears here, which is 거시기. 거시기 is an almighty word that can replace any word in the Korean language. Usually it's used as the meaning of hey, or you know, like...
Alright, so to me it seems like they're saying that each of the dialects have a certain type of attitude to them. Like they were saying earlier, the one that Suga was using was more manly. So they showed clips of people asking people out on dates or saying they were gonna fight. And there was another one too that I think they were just saying J-Hope was talking in a more friendly one. So he's like, hey mister, come up and enjoy. That's what's getting me, I think, is because, you know, when we have dialects here, I guess in different slang and stuff, it's never like attitude based. I think that's what's kind of throwing me off, but I think we're gonna get this, guys. We're gonna get this.
The Gyeongsang dialect's ma. But it can also turn into pronouns like it or that, meaning it can mean any word. So it comes in handy when old people can't remember the word they want to say, or when people want to say an embarrassing word.
우리의 전략 전술적인 거시기는 한마디로 거시기할 때 가장 갑옷을 거시기한다. 알겠지? 거시기 잘 하라고 행복하는 문제 자식주고. 이번에 거시기와 먼저 쓰인 거시기는 대략 두 가지 정도로 그 뜻을 압축해 볼 수 있습니다. 무시기와 거시기는 막 죽어도 모르겠습니다.
And once again, you can notice the endings of each word being dragged and toned up. Now we go into the...
I can definitely hear them now that he explained it. See, when they are dragging out the end of each line, that is a part of each of the dialects. Some have it and some don't. Interesting. I would have never noticed that before this.
Pride of each region, starting with the Gyeongsang province's Sinla의 Hwarang. Sinla was the origin country of Gyeongsang province and once united the three nations Goguryeo, Baekje, Sinla into a unified Sinla. But eventually in the 10th century it was conquered by the Goryeo dynasty. It had an elite warrior group called the Hwarang, meaning flowering knights. The Hwarangs were a social club of young males that gathered to study art, culture, religion, and martial arts. They also acted and fought according to specific commandments called the Sesok Oge.
I was like, wait, some of those pictures look like the boys. But they must do it in a video or something, because it definitely was them. I know it was, right? Tell me I'm right.
Which were like the following. So in this part, V is proud of this elite group and claims that the descendants and the bloodline of them is still running in their veins of Gyeongsang people.
Okay.
Plus, V acted in the Korean drama Hwarang as well.
There we go.
Also, if you look at Jungkook's verse, he's overly proud and confident of his Satoori and culture. Note the two usages of aiga in these sentences. Omo aiga is a way you end a sentence by asking, am I right or not? Try telling me that I'm wrong. So it's like this one-directional question, possibly forcing the other person to answer yes or yes. Now you kind of get a grasp of what Gyeongsang people are like. Very proud, confident, and maybe even handsome. Now it's Cholla time again. J-Hope can't lose to the Gyeongsang boys, so he brings up the famous dish of the Cholla province, which is bibimbap. Jeonju bibimbap is the most well-known and probably the best bibimbap in Korea. It is one of the most famous, healthy, and pretty dishes that represent Korea.
Bitch, that looks so good. They popped that yolk, bitch. I want some so bad. I have to go. This isn't talking about those stingray noses or whatever, right? This is not, we haven't gotten there yet. I'll take this first, though. Thanks.
To the world. The competition on which is the best region has become more intense. Suga approaches J-Hope and the other members by saying, do you know what Kaga Kaga means?
No.
It may sound like goo goo gaga to other people, but to Gyeongsang people, it actually has the meaning of Is that person that person?
가가.
The first ga is a fast pronunciation of 그아, which means that guy. The second ga means is. The third ga refers to the guy we've talked about before. And the fourth ga is finally a question mark.
That doesn't make sense. How can it have the same symbol for 3 different meanings? That's why I just don't think it's fair, honestly. They were trying to confuse everybody. Okay, but I'm getting it though. I'm getting it. There's different ways to say different things, and they're all kind of just coming together, talking about how they're all joining up, just like I said in my review, that they're showing off the different showcases. So kind of low key, if you're like a student in Korea, you can learn a history lesson through this, which I think is pretty dope.
So basically, Gyeongsang people are making fun of other regions that don't have the complexity. Another fun and classic example would be the way Gyeongsang people pronounce this.
No.
Other regions pronounce all of them the same, but people from Busan or Daegu can differentiate them all due to the intonation or stress, like this. 이해이승, 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 이해이승. Also, in the next line, Suga and Jimin say, who says Gyeongsang-do is rough? By this line, we can examine the stereotype and Gyeongsang people not approving it. But it's kind of funny and ironic that the way they're saying it and actually doing it seem a little rough. Ultimately, they're reinforcing the stereotype. Next, the Anabada movement is introduced. This was a movement during the 1997 IMF bailout request situation when Korea's economy had failed and many were driven to the streets or gone broke. Each letter of the Anabada stands for 아끼다, 나누다, 바꾸다, 다시 쓰다, saving, sharing, exchanging, and reusing. The people voluntarily participated and made this movement a success, sharing with neighbors and reducing costs.
We need this more than ever, right now. I wish I could remember. I literally forgot it already. I'm gonna write it down next time though, because like we need this type of support and community in this day and age. It's crazy how history does full circle stuff, y'all.
Although this movement isn't necessarily originated from the Gyeongsang province, its mindset and mission is of what usually Gyeongsang people are like, sharing and caring for each other. Gyeongsang people have this catchphrase like 우리가 남이가, 친구 아이가, which means we are no stranger to each other, or aren't we all friends?
우리가 남이가.
Actually, at the end of the verse, this appears in the Daegu dialect as well. On to the other parts in the verse, you can again find the confident and tough characteristics of Gyeongsang people. 지긴다, 지기네 is another well-used expression for saying something is outstanding or the best. The subtle 아주라마 is actually related to the Busan local baseball team culture.
Put your baby down. What?
When a baseball lands in the audience seat,
Are we not gonna
the
talk
crowd
about it?
shouts "Ajura, Ajura" constantly to give the ball to the nearest kid or baby. In conclusion, we can see that despite being tough or direct.
Oh, okay. So basically, what happens is it's a thing where whoever catches the foul ball during baseball, they start chanting that, and then they'll give it to the youngest kid, whoever's the closest to the ball. That's a really cute tradition. Pass it on. I like it. But like, what is that age cutoff? Because if I was like a little 12-year-old and I caught that, I'm like, I ain't giving that to the little 7-year-old over there, bitch. I caught this. I hate baseball anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't be there.
In fact, on the outside, Gyeongsang people have a warm heart and care for others more than anybody in the inside.
I love that.
So J-Hope decides not to back off to the
Pregnancy.
Gyeongsang-do dudes. He starts with the epic words shibang, which is a very popular term equivalent to koshigi in the Cholla dialect. Shibang means now in the dictionary. However, it has more of the nuance of, hey, look at me now, or what you saying now?
시방 한 17만 정도 될걸?
네 시방 나 내력 테스트 하냐?
Plus, sometimes people mishear it as the most used curse word in Korean, shibang, so it sometimes can be mistaken. Probably that's the reason J-Hope used it as the first word of his verse. Then he goes on with words like humi, 어쩌스까나, which are basically exclamation words that could be maybe perceived as oh my god or OMG.
Wow.
하나를 먹어버렸어요.
It could be either positive or negative. But in this case, it would be a sarcastic, wow, what should I do with you guys? Towards the Gyeongsang-do members.
So they're just like...
The battle goes on as J-Hope now turns offense. Shiburida is a strong way of saying talking. It would be closer to babble or chatter. This word exists both in Gyeongsang and Jeolla area, but changes in usage.
Okay, so they really are just kind of like having all the different dialects and all the different regions kind of battling against each other, but in like a fun kind of way. Like I said, to help everybody learn, they're all part of the same country. And like, that's beautiful.
In the Gyeongsang area, it's used like 뭐라 시부리 샀노? And the Jeolla area, it's used as J-Hope does. Both words, shibang and shiburida, kind of sound like the curse word sh**, so it sounds very strong in a sense. Plus, J-Hope keeps on going offense by saying things like this. Aguji is also a strong way of saying mouth, usually used to say shut your mouth. While provoking why their mouths are all shut now, he says that he can make all the holes in your body open by eating 흑산도 홍어.
Yeah, okay.
Hongo is a type of stingray that's caught near the Jeolla region. This Jeolla specialty is especially famous in an island called 흑산도. The ray is fermented and conditioned in a particular way, and after this process, it emits a very strong odor.
Okay.
And many Koreans, including me, dread going even near it. The odor is so strong that people dare not eat it, but usually people from Jeolla actually enjoy it.
Okay, so that makes sense whenever I was talking about what is the stingray nose thing. Basically, it has such a pungent smell that they use it as an insult, being like, I'll rip open all the holes in your body and make you smell like this, you nasty bitch. It's kind of the vibe that I was getting from that now, but in a playful, fun way, the BTS way, the boys' way.
So basically, J-Hope is teasing the Gyeongsangdo dudes that they go nuts if they eat hongo.
Oh,
now
okay.
in the lyrics, a tricky part appears. Suddenly he starts talking about months and becoming pregnant.
Yeah.
Many armies have tried to decipher what this means on the internet, but up to this day, nobody knows what he's talking about. So, in conclusion, it's just whatever he thought of at that time.
What?
This is actually a characteristic of the Jeolla dialect as well. Because of the fast speed and friendliness, Jeolla people tend to include totally irrelevant or very detailed info inside the conversations.
동갑그만 밑장 빼기냐? 내 패하고 정마담배를 밑에서 뺐지. 내가 빙다리 핫바지라 보이냐 이 새끼야.
Still, he does introduce...
Okay, so literally meant nothing. I don't, that's what I was the most curious about. I'm like, does he have secret children we don't know about? What is the tea? And they gave me some cold tea. I didn't even like it. Spit it out.
Paldogangsan, which is a very high mountain located in Gwangju. It's known that if you hike up to the summit, you can see far enough to Jeju Island. Also, there's a special watermelon that grows only on this mountain, and it's famous for its enormous size. J-Hope has linked these two big things to a baby to be born, and says he's a bangtan, one of them, which are meant to be huge and successful. Finally, the Satoori battle has come to an end, and at this point it has become meaningless and just bickering between the members.
I love that.
Suga brags that he thinks men from Gyeongsang region are handsome, then J-Hope says that's not a fact, and they go on back and forth bickering. But weirdly enough, there are widespread stereotypes that men from Gyeongsang are handsome.
I love how they're just like arguing about who is the most beautiful now, who has best looking people. Y'all all cute, shut up. Like, we all look good in our own ways. Y'all don't gotta fight about it. Don't make me jump in that ring. Pop, pop. I ain't playing much.
It's an average. Now it's time for President King Namjoon to wrap up everything and
That's
end the
what I
fight.
think.
As a Seoul, or technically Ilsan person, he says that the Seoul Korean is the standard, and it becomes the good example of a well-structured language. Also, he does admit that Satoris are attractive, that as a man he wants to use the Gyeongsang dialect, and Jeolla dialect sound so friendly, but still he points out that there's no gain in fighting with each other. This actually stems from deeper history where Jeolla and Gyeongsang regions had hostility towards each other during the 70s, and even until now. It's called 지역 감정 in Korean. The history is very complicated, but it basically started as politicians and presidents were mostly elected from the Gyeongsang region and started developing only the Gyeongsang cities, leaving out the Jeolla province.
Okay, so it's making sense. It's a little bit further back. He's kind of saying we have had this history, this rough history of all of these regions and different dialects and different types of people all this time, but we can come together, and it may be cheesy, but like we're all the same people. But he did like, is it a shade that he said that Seoul is the standard Korean? I thought that was so shady. It's just me? Whatever.
Also, the politicians use this hatred towards each other to manipulate votes and etc. Furthermore, if you go deeper, actually in the old Korean days, the two regions were all different nations that had war with each other and small interaction. So actually the subtle and deep-rooted hostility comes from way back. Anyways, RM finishes the fight and says we are one Korea that might have different accents and dialects, but at the end perfectly understand each other, which is the only thing that matters. So BTS has accomplished 2 missions in Paldogangsan. 1, showing the diverse dialects and funny sides of them, and 2, sending a message of peace and unification among the Korean
Just
nation,
like I thought.
easing 지역감정. Just one more thing. Although it's ambiguous, deriving from the title's name, Paldogangsan, BTS might have hidden their message towards reunification of the current war-split North and South Korea, because the 8 provinces include those 2 from North Korea as well. It is true that North Korean people speak differently, but at the end, we can also understand them easily.
Okay, thank you so much to DKDKTV. Thanks to David. Okay, so this makes so much more sense of why I could not break it down by myself. I needed an actual person that has lived and experienced Korea to really break down the history of what these boys are talking about, but this really does make so much more sense now. I feel so much less frustrated because now I know I wasn't alone in this struggle here, but it is really good to see them putting out these positive messages in their fun BTS normal type way. Like, it's typical. This is what you expect from them. So I'm so happy. And I'm so happy I did that. This was just a quick little video, y'all, to just wrap it up, okay? I needed to just put that final bow on this to be like, I didn't get it, but now I need to. And now we can finally start diving into the live performances of this album. So we'll do that. I guess we got a little peek here to the Satoori, I forgot how to say it already, rap. But with that being said, if you like this video, click thumbs up down below. Also, comment down your favorite song on this album. I need to know. Or did this video help you? Let me also know. Lastly, subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the Patreon too if you want to watch all of these unedited videos, specific run episodes, get early access to my BTS videos, and all of my member requests. You get to watch all of them if you're a Patreon. So come join us over there. But with that being said, my brain feels better and it's time to go. Bye guys.